second thing is, we are talking about the margins, Morgan. David Brody with CBN just sent me an ad that we're going to put up soon, Evangelicals for Harris, and we're going to run it. And while some people may mock that effort, David underlined these stats. Barack Obama got 26% of the white evangelical vote in 2008, and he won. Hillary Clinton got 16% of the evangelical white vote in 2016, and she lost. Joe Biden in 2020 got 24% of the white evangelical vote, and he won. And David Brody, and I think many others would agree that if Kamala Harris gets 20% plus of the white evangelical vote, she probably too will win. So what we're talking about here are white evangelicals on the margins, and those who probably don't want to vote for a man who said that he didn't need God's forgiveness, that he never asked for God's forgiveness because he never needed it. He kept God out of that.
You know, it's interesting. I think when you talk to these voters, they see God as in the center of it. And Trump, for many of them, is the vessel by which they are seeing that God. And I think you make a really good point here. What you're talking about, Joe, is race and religion, right? And the confluence of those two things is what we're seeing play out here. So a lot of the voters I talk to, I mean, these are the same people that are, when Trump is saying, look, she's not really black. If this is a man who walked into a room filled with black journalists and tried to convince them that the woman that was not appearing that day was not, in fact, one of them. And so if you're talking like that, in that language, to a base that already does not believe that this is a woman who represents them, I think it's clear that a case can be made that that vote is specifically up for grabs in a unique way for this particular former president.
And I always go back to something we heard during the 2016 campaign. We talk about all the things of Donald Trump's life that fly in the face of the teachings of Jesus. They say, we're not electing a saint, we're electing a president. And from that political calculation, they say now they got 3 Supreme Court justices that overturned Roe versus Wade, Joe. So a win for them in sort of a political deal.
And Morgan brings up a great point. There are people that did not identify as evangelicals before Trump was elected that started calling themselves evangelicals. And Willie, as the late Tim Keller said, I've stopped calling myself an evangelical because that used to be an identifier for faith. Now it is a cultural identifier, and unfortunately too tied into culture wars that have nothing to do with the gospel of Jesus Christ.
That's right. Morgan Radford starting a great conversation for us as usual. NBC.